This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 998 of Horse Tip Daily. A different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you, one day at a time. Greetings, horse people. Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily. Today's tip is from the Dressage Radio Show. Co-hosts Reese Kofler-Stanfield and Philip Parks answer a listener question about developing thrust from behind in the medium and extended trot. And then I will toss in a couple of pointers for folks who are trying to get their not-so-dressage horses to push from behind. And we'll get right to our tip after this message from Kentucky Performance Products.
This Nutrition Minute is brought to you by Kentucky Performance Products, the company that simplifies your search for research-proven nutritional supplements at kppusa.com.
The horse that matters to you matters to Kentucky Performance Products. Managing horses can be challenging. Each horse's personality affects the way he behaves and reacts to the world around him. Horses with certain dispositions can be at higher risk for developing health problems than others. High-strung or excitable horses are easily stressed, but so is the timid, quiet warrior. Stressed horses are more likely to develop digestive upsets that lead to colic, diarrhea, and ulcers. Nalox Advanced was specifically developed to support a digestive tract that is under stress. It sustains proper pH levels, reducing the incidence of ulcers and hindgut imbalances, while simultaneously supporting the healing of damaged tissues. Nalox Advanced supports the complete digestion of starches and sugars and sustains populations of beneficial bacteria. Make life a little easier on your sensitive horse and start him on Nalox Advanced today. To learn more about the ingredients in Nalox Advanced, visit Kentucky Performance Products at kppusa.com.
So we just have a question from a listener that wants to know what are some exercises to improve thrust, as in trot lengthening. A judge commented that my mare was going a little bit wide behind and needed to develop more thrust. Things that she already knows to do, and I know we've talked about this before, so more transitions within gates and between gates and hill work outside the arena. She doesn't get terrible scores, but she needs to learn how to improve this. So any extra tips here, Reese, beyond those couple things?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously a listener. We love that. You know, you and I are both a huge proponent for hill work. We're a huge proponent for cavalettes. I see this a lot in kind of going from training to first level and first level to second level. Some of this it's really interesting because there are times where you're like, oh my gosh, you know, why can't they get it? Why I've been doing my hill work, I've been doing cavalettes, I've been doing transitions. You know, why are they just not able to have a big, huge trot? And I tell everybody that sometimes they just need to continue because it takes a long time to get a horse to have, and especially, I mean, okay, you have your superstars that sort of come out naturally and are able to do it. But then you need horses that need a little bit of time. And I will tell you, this has happened with several of the horses I've trained for a long period of time where we've done all this, you know, and the riders are like, oh, you know, they're just running and I just can't get them to have thrust and engagement and pushing power from behind. And then one day they sort of get it. And I've seen that happen multiple times with horses where they just finally figure it out and have the strength to figure it out. So that would be a little bit of my tip, is just to continue doing what you're doing.
Keep going. Yeah.
Going. Because sometimes it just takes them a long time to figure it out. And then once they get it and they have the strength and they have the ability, they'll get it. And the other thing I was going to say, Philip, is sometimes when you're trying to do the lengthening or a medium trot, 60 meters, the whole diagonal, is a long way. That's a long way. So sometimes we'll start on a 3/4 diagonal. So it's just not as much ground to cover, because I think sometimes the horse gets maybe, you know, 30 to 40 meters and they just kind of can't hold it anymore. And then the person says, oh, come on. We have a little bit longer to go. So I think sometimes not going that whole length is a really good thing as well.
Yeah.
How about you, Phil? What do you think?
I was going to say, you know, the design of the second level test where it brings in collection lengthenings travers and shoulder in is really smart because all of those things go together. I just want to go back to the comment about the mare traveling a little wide behind, and that can happen. And that horses, when you start to push them on a little bit, they put the hind legs to the outside of the body so that they don't have to come in under the center of the gravity and really carry the weight. That's a very normal thing. And so just doing shoulder in travers a lot will help to really teach the horse to carry the legs underneath the body. And then once I have a good feeling in my shoulder in and in my travers, I'm going to do the lengthenings, not across the diagonals, but down the long sides in shoulder in. Again, to teach the horse to put the hind leg underneath the body and go forward. That's really hard to do. It takes probably, a year at least kind of to be doing shoulder in and carrying that to develop this shoulder in lengthening thing to get the hind legs under, the front end up. This is really where the hard work really starts to come in, and it takes a lot of time to develop this and to develop the fitness of the horse and rider. So I would just say take your lengthenings away from the diagonals now. Work them on the short side sometimes. Work them halfway down the long side. Work them within the 20-meter circle. Again, the 20-meter circle, when you have the right bend, forces the hind legs a little bit more underneath the body rather than on the straight line where the horses can easily get very wide, and that's something that's hard to correct when you're just riding always the same across the diagonal all the time. So just be doing the lengthenings in different places and on curves and within your serpentines and stuff. Don't just do it. Okay, lengthenings in the test are almost always across diagonals all the way to Grand Prix. Have extended trot across the diagonal. But that's not the way you have to train it, right? Train it in different ways, get creative with it, and keep working on everything in second level, not just the things that you think are weak, because it's all connected. Everything helps everything else. And so, you have to get good at the complete second level, including, the turn on the forehand or on the hind legs and little pirouette types work and the transition, canter, walk, canter. All those things make the horse very strong. And then the last thing I think is just, as much as possible, get some video, get some eyes on the ground, because then you can kind of see and feel what it feels like when you have, enough push, right? Sometimes it's just when you're on your own, you feel like, oh, I'm really going for it. And then you watch it on video and it's like, you know what, that horse can work a little bit harder, or I could really go for a little bit more. Get out of your comfort zone. We talked about all these things before. Get out of your comfort zone. Go for a little extra, a little tap behind on the whip or something like that. It all plays in together.
Great advice from Reese and Phillip. Something that I find really useful, especially since I find myself working with horses that are not naturally forward movers, is emphasizing correctness. I concentrate on getting a few correct steps instead of asking endlessly and getting lackluster results, which can be really demotivating for horses who are not naturally athletic. This podcast has been brought to you through the generous support of Kentucky Performance Products and listeners like you. You can have all of your favorite Horse Radio Network shows with you wherever you go by going to your app store and searching Horse Radio Network to download our app for iPhone or Android. Download today. It's quick, it's free, and it's easy. The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements of guests or their opinions. Use your own judgment when listening to the tips provided by the experts on Horse Tip Daily.